game, but the
Halfway,
bye week
baby.
is on the other half. That's right. Going to have a great show today talking about some other things than the Will Levis situation. We will update the Will Levis injury and also the quarterback situation overall for the Titans off the top of the show. And then we'll talk about 3 Titans rookies who have elevated their game to get Tennessee in the win column. We'll dive through some of those. We've got some all-22 film from Easton that we're going to play and give a lot of really good conversation on the things that actually got the Titans the win that was not the quarterback play. So going to have a fun time. It's also Wednesday, which means sports trivia came quick this week. So we'll see if we can continue to elevate our sports trivia game as these Titans rookies have. So Easton, welcome in. Hope everybody's off to a good start on this hump day. Let's get it going.
Good morning, Austin. Good morning, people. Happy October. Little fall in the air. Feels great. Love this time of year. If you're with us live this morning, do us a favor. Hit like on this video. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, hit that like button for it. Smash it for us this morning. That is the easiest way that you can help us get as many live eyeballs on today's show as humanly possible. Make sure you're hitting retweet on the Twitter. And make sure you're subscribed if you're over there on the YouTube channel. And, of course, join us in the comment section today. We want to hear y'all's thoughts on the Titans win. As a couple of folks I've seen this morning in the comments already saying, it's good to be here after a win. I'm off the hook for hexing this team, having joined the company. They have officially won under my time here. And so it feels good to be here. So like that show, tap in with us in the comments, and let's get today's show rolling.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Easton Freeze, one of our Titans reporters for A to Z Sports.com. And we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Got to thank our sponsors. They make it happen for us, and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon or online, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with your health coverage by getting a quote using our link today, fbhp.com/ATOZ. And TDOT, join the solution, be part of the solution to help keep Tennessee beautiful by visiting nobodytrashestennessee.com. So, look, you're off the hook, right? For the Titans got to win.
That's right.
I also have a theory because I have kind of like a theory and a half.
Okay.
Because I was not on the game day show.
I was about to say, is the theory that you're the problem, actually.
Yeah, I was not on the game day show when the Titans were able to beat the Dolphins Monday night. That was you and Sam.
That's right.
Also, the last time the Titans were on Monday Night Football in Miami and got a win, I was not on that game day show either. That was Sam and Jack. You know, here's where the theory
Jack, what do we think here? I don't know.
Here's where the theory gets really interesting. Over the summer, we're approaching 1 full year in our new house that my wife and I got last fall. We built the new deck outside over the summer with, outdoor living area, TV. The Tennessee Titans, including the preseason and Monday night, are 4-0 when I watch on the outside TV.
Oh, wow. So you need to
0-3 when I watch it in the TV to my left here in the office.
Right. We need
to game day show.
Take that TV off the wall. We need to move the office out to the deck, rain or shine.
I just start doing the game day shows outside.
That's
How
right.
does that sound? Just annoying all of my new neighbors.
I need you
as they scream at the halftime show.
Yeah, I need you in mittens and a parka for our late December episodes. I think that's what needs to happen here. Take one for the team, Austin.
Yes. And Jared says Lou Man isn't on vacation. Austin probably banned him again. I have never banned Lou Man. Just for the record, I have never banned Lou Man. I will check the banned accounts on YouTube after the show today to see if somehow he's found himself on this list. Darren says it's been Austin this whole time. Yep, it's been me the entire time overall. I do want to point something out before we dive into the Will Levis update because I have failed to do so in the first couple of shows. Big Ten Jeff says, I have Wi-Fi today. Yay. Jeff lives in Florida, and I have failed to mention all of the hurricane victims all the way in Florida, through up to Georgia, all the way to North Carolina and East Tennessee. So if anybody's been affected, I truly do hope everybody's okay who watches our show, family members of you guys as well. I know A to Z has a couple guys in the North Carolina area. Cole Noble, as far as I don't know if he has power still. Jonathan Crompton, who does our Vols game day shows, his county got hit really, really hard. Luckily, the Vols were on a bye, and so Crompton didn't have to do anything last weekend for work-wise. But I just wanted to mention that because I've been awful at doing that on both Monday and Tuesday morning. So I did want to get that out of the way. But Easton, let's go ahead and hear from Brian Callahan, who after the Titans won did mention about the hurricane victims, unlike me. But here is Brian Callahan, Titans head coach, yesterday on a Tuesday when asked about the overall Will Levis plan following his injury on Monday night that allowed Mason Rudolph to help get the Titans in the win column against the Dolphins. Here's Brian Callahan.
Picture Levis over Rudolph this season, getting to know everything you can about Will, finding out if he's your guy long term, giving him a chance to develop and get over the youthful mistakes and all of that. Is that accurate?
Yes.
View of how you guys are looking at it?
Yeah, that's exactly how we look at it. And I appreciate Mason's professionalism. I appreciate how prepared he was and ready to go into the game. But Will is our starting quarterback. And I said it last night, and I'll reiterate it again, that when he's healthy, he's starting. And hopefully he's healthy for Indy and we're ready to roll, and he's the starting quarterback because it's hard to play quarterback in the NFL, as everybody knows. There does take some development. Guys make young player mistakes. You see it all across the league right now. And we're going to find out everything about Will that we can. And he's going to continue to grow and get better and play better. He needs to play better for us. And at the end of the day, I believe that he will. And that's where I'm at with that whole thing. There's no controversy. There's no second guessing. That's what's happening. So that's probably as clear as I can state it.
Yeah, pretty clear. We need to find everything out about Will that we can.
So who do we think the Titans quarterback is now, Austin?
Yeah,
it seems pretty ambiguous.
It's very much Will Levis, right? And so Easton, I know you and Sam talked about this in the post-game show. You had the day off from the videos yesterday. So since the post-game show, kind of give us your overview on the quarterback situation, the injury, everything that happened Monday night up through yesterday's presser.
Yeah, nothing has changed. And when Brian Callahan came to the post-game podium and talked about how we are 100% behind Will Levis, he's our guy, there was a lot of fan reaction to that on the internet. And some fans were saying, this is dumb. I think this is a bad idea. And to those fans, I say, fine, we can have that conversation. It is fine if you think that this is dumb. What I don't think is fine is the fans that were saying, I don't believe you. I think that this is a lie. I'm calling BS on this. That is either you coping with the situation that you're unhappy about, and or frankly, just being a little bit ignorant. If you think that they're lying about this, I don't think you're paying close enough attention. They are sticking with Will Levis. I don't think that there is anything Will Levis can do this season for them to not stick with Will Levis. I think that this organization is, thank goodness, very clear-eyed about the situation they have both at quarterback and as a team as a whole. From a team building standpoint, what is best for them now and long-term? The answer on both fronts, Will Levis. I think most fans understand this. And I've talked to many fans who hate Will Levis as a player and think that he stinks and have absolutely no hope, and yet are still able to compartmentalize that and say, I'm still glad they're going to stick with them because it means that we'll lose games and we'll have a high draft picks, which if you hate Will Levis, that should be like, whether you like or hate Will Levis right now, today, we should all be in agreement on him being the guy. And I understand some folks just, casual fans want to have a little positive water cooler talk on Monday mornings and not have to have the awkward, man, the Titans really stink conversation. Or frankly, I understand it's not just casual fans, right? It's some diehard PSL holders who rightfully, a little selfishly, want to be able to go to games and not feel like they're burning their money on a disappointing experience. I get it. But that's kind of a goldfish mentality, right? We need to be thinking long-term here.
It's hard,
that's
though,
what the Titans
right?
are doing.
Because here's the reality. Like you and I, Sam, Buck, and Zach, we are not spending our hard-earned money on tickets,
I
on
get it, man.
parking, on tailgating, on the $15 beers, on the Papa John's pizza in the state. No, it's Slim and Huskies, maybe. I don't
Slim
know.
and Huskies.
It's Slim and Huskies pizza, which is way better than Papa John's. But we're not spending. You take a family of 4 to the Titans game. That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
and you're watching Will Levis fumble and throw the football away over and over again. You're pissed off about the $400 to $500 you spent on that Sunday and the time that that is a reality that I know I don't feel because I don't have to do that, and I don't do that. And so I do think it's understandable for teams that just want to win games. I saw a comment that I want to scroll back up to if I can find it quick enough. Corey on Facebook, I don't hate Levis. I don't love Rudolph. I just want this team to succeed and not be a complete embarrassment. Like, I think there's a portion of fans that also just don't want Will Levis to make another viral worthy meme on, what's going to happen on the bye week? Like, how is Will Levis going to somehow figure out how to make a meme on the bye week? I don't think we've talked about that yet. Usually everybody goes 1-0 on the bye week, but Will Levis meme generator might go 0-1 on the bye
it's going to be every quarterback that is playing it's going to be Will Levis tribute week. So every time anybody does anything a little bit embarrassing, it's going to be like, wow, Anthony Richardson went full Will Levis this week. That's how it's going to be embarrassing.
For sure. So I think the overall situation is like the Titans are going to stick with Will Levis for as long as possible. I do not think there is going to be enough pressure on them for a while to move off of Will Levis as the quarterback. But again, that's when healthy, because I want to get to this other comment.
We got a report this morning, right? On his health situation?
Ian Rappaport did say something about Will Levis's injury, but I also want to play this from Brian Callahan, because a lot of people were looking at Will Levis on the sideline Monday night wearing his helmet, seemed fully mentally engaged, like he wanted to go back out there. Here's what Brian Callahan had to say about Levis Monday.
He was hurt, and he was having trouble throwing. He had pain when he was throwing, and so there was no reason to put him in the game if it's a injury to your throwing shoulder. There was no doubt in my mind that was the right thing to do for him, and especially with the bye and the style of game, I felt like instead of risking further injury or further shots on his shoulder, that it was the right thing to do in the moment. I told him the exact same thing, and I told him what I just told you guys, that as soon as you're back healthy, you're back in and going. So he shouldn't feel any type of way about it. And he was sore this morning and all those things. So it's your traditional injury of a quarterback, and Mason went in and played well, and Will be back starting when he's ready to go.
So here's the injury report from Ian Rappaport this morning on the NFL Network. This is quoting his tweet. It should be fine. Levis should be fine when the team returns from the bye, sources say. At that point, as Brian Callahan said, he is the starter. So whenever Will Levis returns from the injury, he will be the starter. I think another key thing to this that I think we can all kind of draw between the lines and read between the lines of what Callahan has said. If they need to find out everything they can about Will Levis. Evaluating a hurt Will Levis does nothing for you.
Not helpful.
Having a hurt Will Levis get further injured also does not help you find out everything about Will Levis. So you have to sit him down in order for him to get healthy, so you can then go find out everything you can about Will Levis, if he's the guy for now and the future, or if you're moving on in April, right? I think that's very obvious and clear to me.
I think it's also important to note, they were making that decision in the game at halftime as to what, that was kind of the point where they were saying, do we get this guy back in there? And if folks, this is something that I realized yesterday. We all kind of knew it because we watched the game, but just to put a number on it, the Titans came out of half and threw the ball. They completed a pass one time. It was a 5-yard dump off to Tajay Spears on first down. And Brian Callahan yesterday in his press conference talked about this in the context of DeAndre Hopkins' snap count. Like, the back half of that game, we were dominating the game. We were dictating the game. We didn't really care whether they knew if we were going to pass or we were going to run, because we were going to run and we were doing it effectively, and they couldn't stop us. So half of it, I think, was he's hurt. We don't want to get him back in there. The other half was we don't need him.
Yeah. They dropped back to throw 5 times. One of them was a sack, one was a completion,
Right.
one was a pass interference on the Dolphins, and 2 were incomplete. So
Yeah.
that's how
Maybe
that
it's a
went.
different story if this is a tight game, but it was
Yeah.
not. They were killing them.
Well, Anthony says this, and then we'll move on. He says, why, Austin, isn't part of the evaluation process evaluating a player who's a little dinged up? He won't always be healthy. Anthony, we're talking about the throwing shoulder. Like, this is
He
very
played
specific.
dinged up last year. Dinged up
Yeah,
ankle.
right? Like ankle. Okay, fine. Let him go out there and fight through it. See what happens. If he's got a little tight hamstring or whatever,
Right.
have him go. We're talking about the damn throwing shoulder here, Anthony. Like, this isn't like what are you talking about? Like, oh yeah, he's got a mild concussion, but let's just go see how he can do it. Like, it's
Our
kind
starting
of
pitcher sprained his UCL. Let's get him out there though. I want to see him
It's
throw
the
some
same
heat
reason
with
why,
a bum elbow.
No, a right-handed pitcher is out because he gets a blister. Oh, poor baby can't throw through a blister. No, you
Right.
idiot! It's a blister on his finger.
It's gonna
It's
make
his
him suck
throwing
at the game.
shoulder. Don't do it. Like, it's very easy. And
Mhm.
Vanessa, 2 words: Steve McNair. And no, like if Steve McNair had a hurt throwing shoulder, he wouldn't have played. He played through an ankle injury, a finger that was dislocated, and a bruised sternum all the damn time. But when it's a throwing shoulder and you're trying to evaluate if Will Levis is the guy or not, you don't put him out there to risk
Like
that.
Steve
It's
McNair was
not
a
that hard.
co-MVP of the league. There was no evaluation going on when he was playing hurt. They
Well,
knew
there was actually evaluation going on like year 2000, I guess in
before that. Okay.
99, right? In 99 when he had turf toe and then he had back.
Before my time, so I'll take your
Remember,
word for it.
he also had back surgery and missed 5 games. But yes, the evaluation process was very different at that point. It wasn't, and people were saying, and ribs. Yeah, like the long list is there for McNair, but it's not the throwing shoulder. Like, it's very different.
Mhm.
So anyway, now we can move on because
Sure.
I do think that's the update on Will Levis. Let's talk about 3 Titans rookies that really elevated their game. But we actually want to ask you guys a question that's probably going to lead to the rookies to get you guys more involved this morning. What was the best thing about that Titans win? Because we've talked so much about Will Levis in the last 2 morning shows. It's now time to talk about other people. But what is the best
sport.
thing about that Titans win overall? Give us your comments in the chat on Facebook and YouTube. We want to read those here in a second. But first, I want to tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. We have some other injury news that came out of the Titans locker room yesterday. Jeffrey Simmons has an injured elbow ligament. He said it's like Tommy John related, kind of, right? It was kind of vague, but what we're going to do is learn more about it. So today, Easton and I will be talking to Dr. Ian Byram of the Bone and Joint Institute, who is a shoulder and elbow specialist.
The
How about
providence
that?
of that. Yeah.
How about that?
I called Austin yesterday. I said, do you think this guy knows elbows? Turns out he knows all about the elbows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ian Byram, shoulder and elbow specialist, the perfect guy to talk about Will Levis's AC joint and Tommy John for Jeff Simmons. So that's coming up later this afternoon on our Facebook and YouTube page. So watch out for that. The Bone and Joint Institute, that's where you should turn to for any injury. Book an appointment when you need them online, boneandjointtn.org.
We're also brought to you this morning by BetMGM, an official partner of the Tennessee Titans. Guys, it's football season. You got to sign up using our code A2Z Sports and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not cash, whether you're cheering on the Titans at the stadium or watching the game at your favorite Music City sports bar. You'll always be able to get in on the action with the BetMGM app right in the palm of your hand. There's nothing better than a Titans win, and there's nothing like the thrill of winning at BetMGM. Enjoy the best parlay selection odds, boosted odds specials, daily promotions, so much more. Download the BetMGM app today. Sign up using code A2Z Sports, ATOZ Sports, and experience the football season like never before.
All right, what was the best part about that Titans win? The best part about that Titans win Monday night in Miami. Easton, I'll have you hit the chat for Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Also hit the like button if you guys haven't yet already. What are you seeing from the chat about the best part about the win?
Seeing a lot of talk about T'Vondre Sweat naturally. Seeing if I can find the T Sweezy is what, as Connor says. The score, according to Jay, like the Titans finally getting to 30 points for the first time in literally 1,000 days. The pass defense, according to Rashid. Robbie says it's Sweat. American says it is the 30 freaking points. Steven says Mason Rudolph didn't throw an interception, which they didn't really give him a chance to, but fair. Duran says Folk was the best thing. Granddaddy strong legs, Nick Folk in there, setting records. What was the record? The oldest NFL kicker to hit that many 50-plus yard field goals?
Three 50-yard field goals in a game at age 50.
I was reliably informed he had a weak leg, so I'm not sure how he did that, but he did do it, so that was nice. The morale for the team, as John says, top tier says the defense as a whole, but I'm skipping over most of these because it is so much sweat. Corey says getting that first win, absolutely. So yeah, we can start with T'Vondre Sweat because.
Let's hear from Brian Callahan on T'Vondre Sweat because we have to that comment because there was no Jeffrey Simmons, as we just mentioned, has an elbow injury to a ligament, so no double teams. But here was Brian Callahan on his second round rookie.
There was no Jeff Simmons last night to draw double teams. How impressive did that make what T'Vondre was able to do for you?
Yeah, he's playing better and better every week. Really impressive performance by him. Dominant performance. That was a matchup on their interior line versus our interior line that we felt like was to our advantage, even with Jeff out. And really, those guys stepped up around him, too. I thought Sebastian Joseph Day probably had his best day, most impactful day he's had. He's been a good, solid player for us, but he made some impact plays. And then Lynch and Anderson both played well as well. I mean, they did a nice job in their roles. So, but Sweat was a force. And when you got a guy like that can get pressure on the quarterback at his size, that can stop the run and make plays laterally along the line of scrimmage, he was really disruptive in that game and again, showed up in a matchup we felt really good about.
And T'Vondre Sweat had a holding penalty called on him. And after watching the replay, I was like, that wasn't a hold. That was just Aaron Brewer weighing 270 pounds and getting thrown by T'Vondre Sweat, shedding a block. Like you're allowed as a defensive player to shed a block by throwing a defender. But when you literally throw the offensive blocker, it looks like a hold, but it was.
Listen, that's a compliment though as a defender because it's rare air when you are get penalized for being too good at your job, guy. That's kind of a backwards compliment.
Like you can't like the Jeffrey Simmons hold on the missed field goal against the Packers. He was holding the blocker so they couldn't go block somebody else. Right. You can throw the blocker when you're trying to get them off you.
Right.
And by doing that, T'Vondre Sweat eliminated Aaron Brewer from being able to block anybody else.
Right. He was very successfully getting past Aaron Brewer. That was my gosh. Not holding him. Go ahead. I was just gonna say a couple of side notes about that comment from Callahan. One, just reiterating, I love that. Like you'd never get that from Mike Vrabel. He will hype up his players, which is super cool. And number two, we're not going to talk about him today, but just want to throw this in here. You know who had a really nice day on tape against the Dolphins?
Who's that?
Arden Key looked really good. So just keep that in mind, folks.
No, I did notice Arden Key. He didn't finish a sack, and he has yet to do that this season.
This is true.
But he was very active. And I wish he would have finished, whistle or not, run the damn fumble back to the end zone. Like totally. I don't give a crap. Like make them blow that whistle a dozen times.
Right.
But finish the play. But I did notice Arden Key was much better. I know you have more things to dive into when it comes to T'Vondre Sweat, but I want to go ahead and get my answer out there. Because my answer overall, somebody said morale of the team. I just saw a different energy of that roster Monday night. And like it sounds like such an intangible answer, but when even like Levis, when Tajay scored that touchdown, Levis was over there with his right hand, like dapping up Tajay. I'm like, dude, keep that shoulder,
relax.
Keep the elbow in while you're dapping him up. Don't get out here. That might hurt the joint again. But I saw a lot of different energy from the offense and the defense that we haven't seen because the death turnover happened and the team is crushed and they were playing so good until they weren't and they lost the game. But I truly felt like it was the perfect way for them to go into the bye week. It's the fact that they were able to run the football effectively. The defense was swarming all over the Dolphins. I know that Tyler Huntley was bad And I know that Tyreek Hill had 150 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns maybe left out there by inaccurate throws by Huntley.
Correct.
And that all L'Jarius Sneed could do at times was watch and hope. But it didn't happen.
Tyreek Hill's a good player.
Yes.
That's what he's going to do.
And I feel like that if Tua was the quarterback, the Titans defense would have been doing different things on the back end and not just playing so up front against the run. Yep. So I do understand that, because they're saying, hey, Tyler Huntley, if you can beat us by completing deep balls to Tyreek Hill 60 yards down the field 3 times, good on you.
I triple dog dare you. Let's make it happen.
Exactly.
Right.
So I thought the way that everybody, like Tony Pollard looked great. Tajay was fun to watch. You saw guys blocking down the field. Like I really felt like this overall, the team was in a very good place. And now they get to go into a bye week in a good place, feeling a lot more confident about themselves. And now they can come out and have a winnable game at Indianapolis. And I've been saying ever since the schedule came out that week 6, Indy at home is a must win for this franchise.
Right.
And it is right now, regardless of whoever is playing quarterback. But that was my best thing about it, was just the team morale. That I kind of hate answering it like that, but honestly, I think that's what it is for me.
I mean, I get hating answering it like that, but I think you're right. It has to be. They had put themselves in that position where a morale boost was needed. So I think you're all over it. So my answer will be T'Vondre Sweat. And I saw some people in the comments saying, oh, you guys are doing a Sweat segment without Sam on the show. That's savage. Listen, folks, Sam does not own the T'Vondre Sweat narrative. He is a part owner. He is on the board of directors for the Sweat narrative victory lap. But here's a genuine thing that I want to bring up. There's a lot of importance, I think, just a little bit of a PSA to what those of us who actually physically go to the Senior Bowl take away from the Senior Bowl, because 2 consecutive years now that I have paid attention to the Senior Bowl, there are just a couple of guys every year where people go see them against their peers with their own eyes, and what they see, regardless of the college record and the college tape, it is undeniable what your eyes are telling you. And with T'Vondre Sweat, he was one of those guys, right? And if you look at the media landscape here in Nashville, it's not that everybody that was not at the Senior Bowl disliked Sweat, but everybody that was at the Senior Bowl liked him a lot. Sam and me, JT Runke, Zach Lyons, Stoney Keeley, Teron Davenport, all of us were there, and all of us came away thinking, this guy has the goods. We cannot deny what our eyes are telling us. That was the way, by the way, this year with the guy we're going to talk about in a little bit, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., another guy that looked really impressive out there. Last year, Tajay Spears was one of those guys. Somebody that Zach Lyons and Stoney Keeley came to me after last year's Senior Bowl, and they were like, hey, this Puka Nacua kid might have the goods. So there's just something there. Pay attention to the Senior Bowl in February. That's my PSA. But T'Vondre Sweat, I wrote an article about him on A to Z Sports, which is basically a summation of all of the ways in which he has been a hit for the Titans so far. And it's only been 4 games, and it's not like he is lighting the world on fire with sacks and pressures and batted balls. But if you watch the tape, which we're all going to do here in a second, I've got a cut up of his biggest moments from Monday night. Man, he was given such a big assignment. And honestly, as somebody that is very invested in Sweat doing well for my own personal gain, I was a little worried. Stock? Yeah, I do. That's what I do. I'm in on the Sweat narrative here. So if he does poorly, it reflects poorly on me. I was worried a little bit because the vision for this team, right, was Sweat. We think he's going to be a very good player on his own. But man, when we pair him with Jeffrey Simmons, that's the money right there. We want the force multiplication of these 2 different complementary players. So what was he going to look like on his own? And I don't think he just passed that test, Austin. I think he passed with flying colors. I think he looked great. So let's go ahead and pull up some of this tape from his Monday night performance. And if I can find it here. Yeah, here we go. So here's T'Vondre Sweat. Got him highlighted in a couple plays. A lot of really impressive run plays in this one, and that's because the Dolphins were mainly running the ball, but he showed a little bit of everything, right? His ability to get to that second level, shed blockers. Right here you see a relatively effective pass rush toolbox, which is something that a lot of detractors of his in the draft were questioning, right? Can this guy, with his athleticism, with his size, with his conditioning, really be a 3-down player? Can he be an effective pass rusher? And so far this year, he has demonstrated that to me. But his number one, A1 quality is some of the things you're seeing here on tape. His ability to shed blockers early, get into the backfield and make a tackle with athleticism that he really should not possess in that frame. Really, really impressive. And he's doing things like Austin said, shedding blocks so effectively that he's getting penalized for holding. I thought that in certain plays where he's not the primary, he's not necessarily getting into the secondary, into the backfield rather, but he is tasked with run gap integrity. I felt like he stayed home really well. Just the little things that you see veterans do that you often see rookies in his position get a little overzealous, get a little out of position, do something that they are going to go back on tape that week and I gotta relax there. He's not doing those things to me on tape, Austin. He's looking like a seasoned guy. And we got some stats from his performance. Mm-hmm. He is currently on the season, not just in that game, but throughout September, tied for the 7th best PFF grade for any defensive tackle in the entire league right now. Of course, PFF grades, I always tell folks, PFF, awesome tool. Probably the least meaningful thing they put out is their just regular grades, their overall grades. But I think this grade matches what we're seeing on the broadcast, what we're seeing on the tape. He looks as good as anybody right now in the middle. And we've got a graphic here. He was the number one. Do we have that graphic, Austin? About being the number one defensive tackle grade of week 4 in the 90s, which is outrageous. That's a very, very, very high score for any defensive tackle. That's like a Jeffrey Simmons breakout game level score for T'Vondre Sweat. So the stat line against Miami was good, not great. What was actually happening on the tape, man, he looked really good. He looked really good.
For sure. And so I think T'Vondre Sweat, if you go back and watch the video again, he wasn't just beating Aaron Brewer, who's 50, 60 pounds less than him. He was doing it against the right guard and the left guard of the Dolphins, who are normal sized offensive linemen in the NFL. And I think the way he was able to shed blocks, avoid blocks, be quicker than the offensive lineman to the spot was very impressive overall. And how about this? Because I do see Alex says Austin was famously anti-Sweat. I was anti-Sweat at the 38th overall pick.
Those are different things.
I thought the value was not good. Because one thing that I did try to mention as often as I possibly could was the whole, T'Vondre Sweat doesn't play enough snaps. When he led the Texas defensive line in snaps on the season that included the 20th overall pick and Byron Murphy, who was, and he had more snaps than Byron Murphy. Guess what T'Vondre Sweat did on Monday night? In the heat, where the heat index was way up there. Yeah. And I heard Jim White and Buck say that heat index was triple digits for a lot of that weekend when they were in Miami. But T'Vondre Sweat played 80% of the Titans' offensive snaps. So how about that? So was I anti-Sweat? I did not like the value of the pick at 38. I questioned a little bit of when he said he would be a Hall of Famer at 355 pounds, my answer and Zach's answer was, well, then why aren't you 355 pounds? If all it takes is you to be at 355, then why aren't you there? Because Hall of Fame at 355. That's a big comment, big boy. But sure. So get there. And it looks like he is getting there. I don't know how much he weighs, but whatever he's doing right now looks good. It looks very good. And then I also want to throw a shade at Brandon Dozier, because Brandon was also anti-Malik Willis, LOL. Austin is not the guy for talent evals, clearly. Guys. Malik Willis sucks as an NFL quarterback. Why are we still doing this, dude? Like, Malik Willis is not a good quarterback. Guess who also isn't a good quarterback? Will Levis. Guess who I thought was not going to be a good NFL quarterback? Will Levis. So, Brandon, come on, bro. Like,
also, every talent evaluator has.
This is some. You win some, you lose some. Sometimes it rains. That's how
right.
It works.
We all have hilarious misses. Even the very best amongst us have hilarious misses. This is the game, right? You get to victory lap when you're right, and you get to make fun of yourself when you're wrong. So it happens. It happens.
Gosh, like, come on, man. Like, Malik Willis is not good. Like, he beat the Packers are better than the Titans.
I don't know. Malik Willis 2-0, Jordan Love 0-2 this year. I don't know.
Yeah,
the wins speak for themselves.
You've also got Brazil Eagles week 1 and Sam Darnold's red hot, purple hot flame Vikings.
No. Don't quit with your context. Stop that.
Yeah, right. Stop with the other details.
Along the snap count line, by the way, just a little bit more detail on that, because you're right, and it sounds like you were right to be banging the drum that I was banging at that time. Guys, the snap count thing, like, I think people just saw big man quotes about his conditioning not being good. He gained weight throughout the season. He must not be able to stay on the field, and yet he, again, outsnapped his teammate who went higher than him. So far this season, he is outsnapping all of the rookie defensive tackles, save one. He has 170 snaps on the season. Braden Fisk with the Rams has 177. They're the only two rookie defensive tackles with more than even 90 defensive snaps this year. So far this season, he is averaging 42.4 snaps per game, which is 72%. When you look at the top, I believe it's top 20 highest paid defensive tackles in the league, so veteran guys right now, the best of the best. When you look at their rookie seasons and how many snaps they were playing, they all average about 36 snaps per game. So he is ahead of schedule in every regard. He's on the field. He is conditioned where the Titans want him to be. And most importantly, he's impacting the game in a big way with or without Jeffrey Simmons. So there's really not a bad thing you can say about T'Vondre Sweat right now. I think the Titans killed it with their second round pick.
All right, I'm going to bring up a comment because I think this is very irresponsible of this viewer, and I don't want this to be a thing. Hassani, this is really, really, really inappropriate of you, and I'm being dead serious. All of your misses seem to be African American. If that is the dumbest thing and very unfair for you to say about anybody, because that's ridiculous. I just told you how I was anti Will Levis. I don't care about that. We're about to talk about two other draft picks the Titans made that are really damn good, and that I like too. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. in the 5th round, abso-freaking-lutely bring it on all day long. That is a ridiculous, ridiculous comment, Hassani. You watch this show enough. That's awful, because you are throwing something out there that is absolute BS. Like,
it's lazy.
Don't do that.
Lazy.
That's not, and like, I don't care if you're joking. This is not your livelihood. This is very unfair of you to throw that, because all it takes is a label to ruin. And I'm not talking about just me. I'm talking about anybody. So
we all get that. We all get that. Yeah.
That's stupid. So, all right, let's move on now, because we do have some legitimately good rookies to talk about, including T'Vondre Sweat. But want to talk to you guys more about our friends at Farm Bureau Health Plans. If you're looking to better your health coverage, you can do that by saving money and by getting better coverage. That's the best of both worlds at Farm Bureau Health Plans, fphp.com/ATOZ. When Zach signed up with Farm Bureau Health Plans 3 years ago, he was single at the time, obviously an entrepreneur like me, but didn't have the ability to rely on his spouse's health coverage. And so he went to Farm Bureau Health Plans and saved 20% per month on his rate versus the government marketplace, and got better coverage as well. Don't have to pay out of pocket for dental. Don't have to pay out of pocket for the contact, for your vision coverage. You can do whatever you need and save money with better coverage for that right situation for you at Farm Bureau Health Plan. So please hit them up and get a quote today by using our link, fbhp.com/ATOZ.
We're also brought to you this morning by BetMGM. Guys, if you sign up using promo code A2Z Sports over at BetMGM, they're going to give you up to $1,500 back in bonus bets. No Titans game to bet on this week, Austin, but the Titans hate watch of the week. Colts, Jaguars. Jaguars over at BetMGM, a 3-point home favorite against the Colts. Will the Jaguars get into the win column, or will they start 0-5 and will heads probably start to roll? We'll have to see. So if you think that's a bad line, go over to BetMGM, sign up using our code ATOZ Sports. Use that bonus bet, no sweat. You can be bold with your selection because it's an insured bet there, and you can go and bet on the Titans hate watch of the week, Jaguars Colts, which is what I'll be watching this weekend. So I'll go and do that at BetMGM.
All right, so Easton, let's talk about these other rookies, because we've talked a lot about the second round pick in T'Vondre Sweat. Brandon does ask, when is the Doc Talk? The Doc Talk, we will be talking, I want to say that will be out around 2:00 this afternoon Central Time. So we're talking about Will Levis's shoulder, and we're also talking about Jeffrey Simmons with his elbow ligament that he kind of told the media yesterday in the locker room. So that'll be out a little bit later on this afternoon. So let's talk about these other rookies, because the title of the show is 3 rookies elevate their game to get the Titans a win. And so where you want to start? You want to start with the first round pick, or you want to start with the 5th round pick?
Let's Let's start with the first round pick. Let's get him out of the way because we've talked about him a little bit, and we've got to cut up from his game in Miami. So J.C. Latham continues to better his game each and every week. Started off relatively rough. Most starting tackles, their first game in the NFL, not great. But he has gotten better each and every week. And here's a cut up that I did not actually put this one together. My buddy James Foster did. So shout out to James for putting this together. But here's some of what J.C. Latham put on tape. And here's the interesting thing. In Miami, in the run game, he left a little bit to be desired, which has been his strength for the most part this season. But in pass protection, he was really dominant, man. And the Dolphins have a good pass rush. This is not like they were going up against a really fortuitous matchup for him. He was just dominating his assignments. And you'll see here on tape, they're leaving him on an island a lot, Austin. That's the biggest takeaway here for me is, one of the keys we talked about last week. I talked about it in the pregame show. This Titans coaching staff must figure out a way to scheme around their right tackle situation. A lot of teams in the NFL have only one real, true, serviceable tackle, and they make it work because them's the breaks. Tackle supply, extremely low supply of viable guys, so you got to make do with what you have. And the Titans haven't had even one for a while now. Now they have one in J.C. Latham. Now they need to lean on him. He's a top 10 pick. He's a big boy. This is what you drafted him there for, to be able to lean on them early. Put him on an island. Trust him to do the thing. And you saw in those clips, they trusted him to do the thing, and he was doing the thing. So that's, I think, good news. And obviously, in this game script, it's a good testing ground for that because you're not dropping back to pass a whole lot. The Dolphins aren't sending the house every snap. So it's going to get harder, and it will probably look worse than that against different teams in different situations at times. But the fact that they are showing that they're recognizing that they're tinkering, working to make that happen. That's good news for the Titans, and it's good news for the Titans that, hey, J.C. Latham looking better and better each week.
Yeah, I agree. And I remember whenever I watched J.C. Latham, I try to remember Mike Martz, who put out his back in the spring his pre-draft evaluation on the top tackles of this past draft. And something that I always remember when I watched J.C. Latham is what Mike Martz said. And I'll pull the clip up again because it shows up at the first snap. When he gets his hands on you, or maybe it's the second one. When he gets his hands on you, you're done. You're over. And here it is. Done. Over. Like 42 in the ground.
If they get a grip, you're toast.
Yeah. And so you see, there's another one. We're 3 for 3 of guys hitting the ground with J.C. Latham. And that one's just the most perfect stand up, don't go anywhere. And so, very, very, very good game from J.C. Latham. And you mentioned it. He was not good against the Bears. He got better against the Jets. He got better against the Packers, and he was really good against the Dolphins. And so I think, I'm really excited to see how he continues to grow and how he's approached being a rookie left tackle is the most professional way. I don't think I've seen a rookie be more professional than J.C. Latham has this entire offseason. The guy is got it all together. The maturity, the approach, the physical tools, everything. J.C. Latham has it all stacked in on his side. And he's got the work ethic to make it all happen.
He carries himself like a total pro. And one other wrinkle, just to put some numbers on it here for folks that are wondering. Again, PFF grades, take it with a grain of salt, but it's a generic way for us to look at this. He has a 66 overall grade this season, 72 in the pass blocking department, 62 in the run blocking department, which is not what we expected to see. Evaluators were pretty unanimous on, I think this guy, just how big and strong he is and how athletic he is in that frame. He's going to probably start out as a really effective run blocker, and they're going to have to figure it out with the pass blocking. It's turned out to be a little bit of the opposite, which is actually good news because if you ask any offensive line developer worth their salt, they'll tell you it is much easier to teach a guy how to run block than it is to teach him how to pass block. Kind of just you got to have it a little bit with the pass blocking. And so far he seems to have it. And that is good news for the Titans because I think Bill Callahan is I would reckon he prefers to have to really get a guy coached up as a pass blocker, as a run blocker, because he knows that he can do that. And he's probably done it with more linemen than we can count.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right. A to Z Sports here live on this Wednesday. I almost forgot what day of the week it was because it's already
These
Wednesday.
primetime games throw us off. It feels like a Tuesday.
I hate primetime games. I've talked about that. I would much rather be able to go about our noon kickoff schedule and just keep on rolling that way. But yeah, on a Wednesday, let's go ahead. We're talking about Jarvis Brownlee Jr. Here in a second, because that guy was very, very fun to watch. I think Ethan freezed again as that. Look at that smile. Easton's frozen once again. But while he's frozen, I'll tell you guys about our friends at TDOT. Nobody trash Tennessee. Be part of the solution to end littering in Tennessee. So make sure that you can help pick up one of the 88 million pieces of litter across Tennessee's roadways and be part of the solution to help Tennessee stay beautiful. $23 million. That's what TDOT spends every year to help clean up that litter. And you can be a part of it by joining cleanup like we are. A to Z Sports is going to be doing later on this fall and more. So keep Tennessee beautiful by nobodytrashes.tennessee.com. So make sure you visit them. And I'll also tell you while we figure out what happened to Easton, and that is that BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas, you can visit betmgm.com, sign up with our code ATOZ Sports to get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if that first bet misses. So make sure you sign up with BetMGM. Take advantage of all their odds boosts, their tokens, college football, pro football as well. Baseball playoffs are happening. They're going to give you some opportunities to win extra money with tokens, parlay boosts, all over the place with BetMGM. So make sure you take care of them. The sports book born in Vegas. So I don't know what happened to Easton here, but while we wait for Easton, let's go ahead and play a little of that video from Jarvis Brownlee Jr. This is only 14 seconds, and then Easton pulled it. So I don't know which play it is, but Jarvis Brownlee Jr. has been pretty good overall. He's top of the screen there. Let's see what Easton had for us. So obviously this is really smart play by Jarvis Brownlee Jr., the rookie cornerback making his first start, that he was able to identify, looking like he's playing in zone here. Able to pass off one receiver and find the other receiver that was crossing into his zone and attacking to make a strong tackle after that. So I think Easton's getting back up in here. So we'll see if we can bring Easton in now. I guess you're having some type of internet problem.
Yeah, I just got a text from like Xfinity and said your entire neighborhood is out. So that's cool. But we're here on cellular for the rest of the show. Hopefully I sound all right, and I apologize for something I can't control, I guess.
Yes, that happens. You can turn your phone sideways.
How about this? Oh, is this better?
There you go. There you go.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, we'll roll with this for the rest of the show.
All right, so I showed the Jarvis Brownlee Jr. clip there. So what were you going to dive into about the Titans rookie corner, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., the 5th-round pick out of Louisville?
Yeah, show that clip again, because I think it's just the first snap of his from coverage. But if you had to boil down Jarvis Brownlee Jr., the experience, what the Titans signed up for when they went and drafted the guy, this clip demonstrates it, right? Put a guy in a locker, and then move in space, identify like a seasoned veteran, identify where the ball is going, make sure that you maintain your gap integrity, and then stick a block in space, make an athletic play. He did it all in that one play, and that's what they signed up for. He's a menace out there. He's a nasty human being on the football field. And it was fun asking Brian Callahan about this yesterday. What'd you think about him in this game? And Brian, again, ever the honest man, saying, well, he kind of sucked in Green Bay in a spot start. But he looked awesome in this game, so it was cool to see him bounce back. I watched every single snap of Jarvis's from in coverage from that game, all 20 some odd of them. And I was curious to go into the tape study, because in a game like that, when you're watching the broadcast, number one, the hardest thing to evaluate on the broadcast is probably O-line play. The number two hardest thing is the secondary of a defense, because they're not on the screen for most of it, right? It's the safeties in the corner. Like, if they're on the screen, it's only because the ball went their way, and often it's because bad things are about to happen to them. So when you go and you watch the tape, it is it's enlightening oftentimes, and especially in a game like this where Jarvis is guarding a really good receiver in Jalen Waddle, but you also know that he doesn't really have a quarterback in this game. They're not throwing the ball much. So was he getting open? Like, what happened? Not really. He got him a couple times, which is going to happen. Even again, we saw it, like you said, with L'Jarius Sneed. Even the best cornerbacks are going to get got by the best receivers. That's a battle there. But for the most part, Brownlee was in his hip pocket. He was playing physical. He was playing a lot of press man coverage in zone, which is, I think, the weakness of his game. He looked to be in the right position at the right time. He seemed to know what he was doing. Didn't look lost out there. So, as Brian Callahan said in his press conference, it's a luxury as an NFL team to feel like you have 4 legitimate guys at the cornerback position that can go out there and be a starting caliber player for you in a pinch. And when you've got older guys like Cheeto, who are injury prone at this point in their career, having a backup young guy like that who can come in and play a full game like a guy any other team would have out there, just regardless of injury situation, that's awesome. It's great news for the Titans.
Yeah, no, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. So I first learned about Jarvis Brownlee Jr. because Charles Goldman, who's one of our managing editors for the website, covers the Chiefs. So he has seen a lot of L'Jarius Sneed. He knows a couple of people at Louisville and was put on Jarvis Brownlee Jr. earlier, like pre-Senior Bowl, and was like, this guy's got a little bit of that Sneed in him, of his aggressive and his play style and how he wants to play the game. And so I think it's, for the Titans, once they drafted Brownlee Jr. after they traded for Sneed, I immediately was like, oh, Charles, dude, like they're going after and trying to find the next Sneed on day 3 of the draft. And I'm looking, he's got a long way to go before he becomes the next L'Jarius Sneed by all means. But you see the ability and the attitude that Brownlee Jr. plays with. And I think he's a fun quote. He's an interesting person with a great backstory. And so totally. I'm really excited to kind of see him play more, because he's had a lot more good snaps than he has bad snaps being a rookie 1 month into his pro career.
Austin, when people around draft season tell you, who cares? It's a 3rd day pick. It's a day 3 pick. It's basically useless. Just, you throw it in this package, get rid of it. You don't need them. Why tune in to day 3 on Saturday of the draft? Who cares about these players? Grab that person by the shoulders, shake them and say, wake up, because there's guys like Jarvis Brownlee Jr. out there. They're there to be found. It takes a good NFL team with evaluators and developers to find them and mold them. But I mean, the Titans, beyond this year, they have found themselves a starting corner in the 5th round of the draft. Like that. That's plus value. That's good team building. And a guy like Rand Carthon, who we know, like one of the big sells with him was, hey, he's coming from the 49ers. Look at how much success they've had in the later rounds. He was the guy doing those things. He was the late round guy. So far, he is showing that he has the ability to find these diamonds in the rough. And it can't be overstated how much of an advantage that gives you as an NFL team to be able to find guys in those late rounds.
No doubt. All right. Easton is without Wi-Fi. The whole internet got knocked out across the neighborhood.
Jeez.
So do we want to attempt trivia? Because I have it pulled up.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay.
What could go wrong?
I also see from the chat volume for you needs to be a little lower.
Too loud?
You're a little loud.
Okay, I was trying to be loud because I was afraid you couldn't hear me, so I'll just speak normal now. Okay.
Yeah. Now you can go back to the inside voice.
The inside voice.
All right. Let's see what we can do here with a little sports trivia on this Wednesday. And shout out to Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Say hey to Pain Bone for us while you're looking for that new ride. All right, so I've got the website pulled up. I'm also going to have to control the graphics. Because Easton has no ability to help anything. He's on his phone. And
I'm useless.
Any buttons. Can you see the chat?
Nope. I'm flying blind here.
So you can't even help you can just help answer the questions, but that's literally it. Is that right?
Wait, I can't see the chat. Haha,
okay.
Never mind.
So you can see the chat, so that's good. That makes me feel a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to have this thing pop up here with our little sports trivia. Oh, there we go. I had it right the first time.
Okay, hang on, Austin. So I can either see what we're looking at on the trivia or the chat. So if you can just read the questions out, I can man the chat.
That's fair. That's fair. We can absolutely do that. So, all right, we'll see if I can close the ads today, or if that's just going to be
I don't think they let you. I think it's a
Oh,
false
yeah.
offering. Oh God.
Send feedback. Add, not interested. It's not gonna let me close the actual box. All right, so here we are. Where's my start button? I just click on. All right, we're gonna NFLs. We're
Just
gonna
click
go.
on one. Yep.
Roy Williams, the wide receiver, and Roy Williams, the DB, were teammates on what 2008 NFC team?
Oh, brother.
I
have
want to
no
say
idea.
it's the Lions.
You could convince me of that, sure. The chat waiting to see if anybody. Yep, the Lions is what the chat thinks.
Lions.
Yep.
Detroit Lions is wrong.
Okay. Well, now people are saying Cowboys, so we're off to a great start.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Music. Charting number 1 on the Billboard Hot in 2001. This American rap rock band is most known for the song Butterfly. I don't know this either.
Is happening? This is the worst start to trivia. Chat, help us out.
2001 American rap rock band most known for the song Butterfly.
Dude, I have no idea. The chat has no idea. Crazy Town? I've never heard of Crazy Town in my life. Okay.
Okay, got it right.
Sure, whatever.
Movies. Adam Sandler played a married world-class chef who falls for his new Mexican housekeeper in this 2004 romantic comedy.
This is the worst trivia ever.
I have not seen this.
I have no idea.
Is that Spanglish? No Spanglish? Wasn't he in Spanglish? Something like that?
I'm not a Sandler aficionado. I prefer good movies.
I have not seen Spanglish, but I do remember the commercials. All right, television across the bottom. Margaret Qualley played a young mom and cleaning lady attempting to escape an abusive relationship in this 2021 Netflix limited series. I have no idea either.
Who put the trivia on impossible mode this morning?
And also, like, what's back to that cleaning lady
mentions?
Yeah, strange. I have no idea what this
2021 Netflix show. I mean, am I supposed to watch every crappy Netflix show that comes out? Is that what's supposed to happen here?
Enough. People are saying enough.
Enough.
The cleaning lady?
I'm seeing a couple maids. I remember there being a show, or something about the cleaning lady, but people are saying maid. Try maid. Try maid. A lot of maids in here.
Okay, that's right.
Cool.
Chain restaurants. Consisting of a single protein and or provolone cheese, what sandwich chain offers a line of value sandwiches known as plain slims? I have no idea. What in the world is this?
Somebody designed this trivia with me in mind, because this is everything I don't know about.
Plain slims?
Jimmy John's? Okay, sure. I'm not a Jimmy John's guy, so I guess that explains it. All right.
Geography. Crater Lake National Park, Cannon Beach, and Hood River are all located in what U.S. state that resides west of the Mississippi?
I want to say Crater Lake is like Oregon, but I'm not super confident. Let's see if the chat can confirm on here. The trivia is being carried.
Work says Utah.
I really don't think it's Utah, but maybe I'm wrong. I think it's Oregon.
We have a Montana,
people are saying all
Oregon,
the states.
Colorado, and Arizona. We have 6 different states represented.
It's not Arizona.
We got multiple Oregons in Arizona. So, all right, here's Crater Lake National Park, Cannon Beach, and Hood River are located in what state west of the Mississippi?
I mean, Cannon Beach indicates it should be on the coast, which fits for Oregon.
It could be a beach on a lake.
I guess you're right.
People are saying Oregon. Oregon is the most.
Right.
All right, well, like screw the clock. We're battling.
We're already cooked.
Oregon is correct.
There we go.
Major League Baseball. During the first year of the one-game wild card playoff in 2012, this team ended a 14-season playoff drought and defeated the Rangers to advance to the ALDS.
We need Sam in here. I'm not a baseball guy. Royals, maybe? I don't know. 14 season playoff drought?
Yeah, in 2012. So
it could
be the Royals.
Right?
Are they an
were
American
good
League
right around
team?
then. That's the thing is I don't know the divisions even. I mean, we need a baseball person for this.
I'm very bad at American versus National Leagues teams. I don't know.
I'm bad at anything that's not Atlanta Braves. I'm seeing
Cubs. No.
Cubs. No, their drought has been longer than that. Anybody? Chat is carry Tigers, the
Tigers?
Tigres. Not Kansas City, Nick says. Okay, scrap that idea.
It could be the Tigers. They were pretty bad for a bit.
They've most of my life they've been bad.
The LA Angels of Anaheim.
American
Anybody.
League.
We're getting some Baltimore. We're getting some Orioles.
All right, let's do Orioles. I've seen a couple Orioles in here.
All right. Got it right.
Sure.
College football. As a senior in Massachusetts, this UMass Minutemen This UMass Minutemen wide receiver led the NCAA with 1,700 receiving yards in 2018 before becoming a Cardinals second-round pick. UMass receiver, Cardinals second-round pick in 2018.
What year? 18?
So 2019 draft.
Is it like Rondale Moore?
No, he was Purdue.
Okay.
I thought this was going to be a Tajay Sharp question for a second.
Right. Go. Is it Christian Kirk?
No, Texas A&M.
Oh.
Andy Isabella.
Ah,
yes. Nice.
Good pull for Football Fred there.
Football Fred gets that very football question right. All right, celebrity mashup. Oh, I know that's Rainn Wilson.
Yeah. And goodness gracious, like President Snow from the Hunger Games.
How does Rain spell his name?
Rainn, I think. Yeah. Jeff Bridges. Yeah, I think it's Jeff Bridges.
You think it's Jeff Bridges wearing the suit?
Listen, I'm looking at the tiniest screen. I'm a bad narrator for this. Chris Christie? No, not Chris Christie. Buddy from The Big Lebowski? Not helpful. Need a name. People think it's Jon Stewart?
That could be Jon Stewart because he grew his hair out.
Yeah, but it's generic long hair and beard.
Jeff Bridges isn't wearing a suit and tie.
Maybe he is. I don't know.
This looks like a Jon Stewart picture with Dwight Schrute's face on it.
David Letterman? Is the beard long enough for that? I can't really tell.
The hair is not David Letterman.
Okay. Mel Gibson. Ooh, that might be right.
Russell Crowe. It's not George Clooney.
It's not Clooney.
He doesn't cover up his beautiful face like that.
Everyone thinks it's Jeff Bridges. Do we live and die with Jeff? Okay, all right.
Oh, come on, Ad.
This is the worst trivia performance of all time.
Well, it was.
Was that
correct.
it? Wow. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then what was the answer to this one? That's right. Holy cow. What's our final time on that?
8 minutes, 5 seconds.
That's got to be an all-time bad performance. We're going to blame it on the Wi-Fi situation, but it wasn't Wi-Fi.
Because I couldn't see the chat and the screen and type all at the same time. I had to keep flipping back and forth.
But let's be honest, it wouldn't have mattered. These questions were brutal.
Yeah, it was pretty tough.
If I had done that alone, I would have gotten one of the 9 things correct. I'm pretty sure. It was a really tough one. We need a bye week from the trivia. We need to coach better, play better out here.
Yeah. Bork says, really need this bye week to move on and forget this. Yeah, flush it and move on.
Everybody in the chat, do us a favor. Just pretend you didn't see us do trivia today. Let's all just forget that this happened.
Nick says not brutal for the chat. Like, maybe not, but like we were
chat carried, but we did not.
We weren't able to help. Like it was we were handcuffed a little bit, but all right, guys, that'll be it for us on this Wednesday. Make sure you lock in and hit that like button, like the show before you go here on this Wednesday. Buck Rising. I think Buck is off as he goes into a little bye week time away. But tonight, new episode of Survivor 47. So we'll see what happens after Sam's big episode last week. We'll catch you guys tomorrow morning on a Thursday at 8 Central. Appreciate it as always.